So you determine what's a cultural behavior versus what I call an unacceptable behavior. Is the cultural behavior is based on some type of anthropological definition or research that we can then tie to an identity. The unacceptable behavior first may not have that research context, and secondly brings in typically some issue of harm, safety that is detrimental to the overall situation. So one example I'll use that comes up all the time is with boys, you tend to get a lot of horse playing, play fighting, which we could attribute to culture, particularly boy culture. Sometimes though that horse fighting turns serious, and then all of a sudden two boys who were playing at first are now fighting. Once they begin fighting, now that becomes unacceptable. So I look at it as a line. There's a line between what's cultural and unacceptable where you can cross. The point here is that we don't want educators misconstruing horse playing as unacceptable, right? Because it's really more akin to boys being boys, quote unquote. So we want to acknowledge that. We want to validate and affirm that, with the thought that they would be more culturally appropriate and actually not horseplay, which then obviously prevents getting too unacceptable in the first place. But it's how we go at them initially, right? So if I see two boys engaging, I say, hey, stop that horseplaying. First thing I get from them is or stop that fighting. They're gonna say, we're just playing, right? And that's the part that I want to be better acknowledged. I'll give you another example with the whole notion of students interjecting during the course of a lesson, which most people call blurting out, right? Well, this is something that we know is cultural due to verbal overlap, due to spontaneity, and that it's a form of students amening what's going on in the classroom. It's actually a form of call and response. Well, that's culturally inappropriate if a lecture is occurring, if directions are being given, but it's not wrong, it's not unacceptable. So we want to be able to make those types of distinctions, so then we're clearly focused on what we're going to validate and affirm, and then what we're going to be more classroom management oriented with, which would be those unacceptable behaviors.